So first and foremost, identifying the shapes. So this is an ice cream cone is what I would call it as a whole. But as far as volume wise, we're going to find a hemisphere, which is half of our sphere. So use your sphere volume formula and you're going to half it. And then a cone, which is the same as a cylinder, but we pinched it. So we're going to divide by 3. So hemisphere, remember, is pi r cubed, and that's 4/3. But because it's a hemisphere, we're going to then take the whole thing and multiply it by 1/2 or divide by 2 when we're done. So sphere is 4 pi r cubed. Again, big call out, cube, 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 then divided by 3. Because most people, your quick is to raise it to the second power because you've done more of that in your math career so far. So cone, again, it's going to be a cylinder. So that's volume equals big BH, which is the one I hate. We're going to divide by 3 because we pinched it. Big B in this case is a circle. It's upside down, but that is still our base. So it's actually going to be pi r squared, because that's the area of a circle, times the number in the stack, so your height, and then divide it by 3 because we pinch it off. All right, so our hemisphere, 12. That's our diameter. That's another misconception that happens a lot, is you just grab the numbers given instead of slowing down and thinking about what you need. We actually need radius. Be careful as well. If I ask you directly, a radius is half of the diameter, or a diameter is 2 times the radius. But for some reason in this unit, when I discuss it, or I like type in a question, I don't get to ask it to you with a facial expression. You guys tell me 36. So be very careful. It's not radius squared for diameter. It's just double. Radius is from the center to the outer part of the circle. Again, if we have that conversation, you have no problem when we really start discussing it, but the jump answer is going to be 36. So make sure you catch your brain before you run down that rabbit hole. So we're going to do sphere first, and we're going to use 3.14 like we have been for the rest of these examples. 3.14 for our pi. Again, just another call out. Make sure you're reading your instructions at the top. In this case, it was on 2 pages back. So that's what I'm here for. But it is not, the one is not more prominent than the other. So 6, and we're going to cube it, and then we're going to take the whole thing and divide by 3. That would be your full ice cream scoop, your full globe, whatever you think about basketball. That's a round sphere. But in this case, we're then going to, again, like always, I'm like to give you all the numbers. So 452 point. We are supposed to round to the 10th place, but I'll go ahead and give you this so you know where it is. So it would be 0.2 if you're following all the directions. We're going to divide by 3. And so 452.2 divided by 3 is going to give us 150.73. So that 3 is not going to round that 7 up, which is great for the whole thing. Like if he existed down here as well, he's not. So we're going to half him. So we're going to divide by 2. And our answer is going to be 75.36. So it's going to be 75.4. Again, this case it's centimeters, and we're going to cube it because it is a 3-dimensional figure. This is just for the ice cream part of our snow cone here, or the snow part of our snow cone. Now we need to do the same thing for our cone. Pi, we're going to still use 3.14. Radius is 6, so we're going to square it this time. There's height is 12, so there's 12 in this stack, and then we pinch it off by dividing by 3 and making it like a triangle. So 3.14 times 36 times 12. Again, just giving too much information, maybe 1,356.48, so it's going to be 0.5. Then we're going to divide by 3. And that's going to give us 452.16. That's going to be 0.2. Again, centimeters cubed. Both of these are great, but not the answer to the question because I need to add those together. So 452.2 plus 75.4. And that's going to give us 527.6 centimeters cubed. Also be really careful because, like I said, my biggest thing in Math 3 is that most of us, the questions are really your key to understanding. You have the math, you have the skill, is slowing down. Multiple choice, they may give you a centimeter squared. So again, just reiterating that you know that volume is 3-dimensional, not 2-dimensional. Area is centimeters squared. Volume is centimeters cubed. All right, so we have another hemisphere and we have a cylinder, so that can at this point. I don't have anything off the top of my head that's shaped like this. Maybe a water tower. Otherwise, I'm just at, it's a hemisphere stacked on top of a cylinder. So a radius of 9, radius of 9. I challenge you to try this puppy by yourself. At least maybe the hemisphere first, then come in and check in, and then try your cylinder, because we've done a couple at this rate. And for the most part, practice makes perfect, and then you'll catch your mistake, whether it be how you plug it into the calculator, because most of the time our mistakes, if we allow ourselves to make them, are the same over and over and over again. So then you can correct it. So hemisphere again, 4/3, because that 4 is strange versus our 1/3 for everything. Pi, we're going to use 3.14. Radius cubed, that's our sphere. So that's just the full sphere. And then we're going to multiply the whole thing by 1/2 once we get our answer. So 4 times 3.14 times our 9 cubed, not squared, and then we're going to divide the whole thing by 3. So we'll get our sphere first. 4 times 3.14 times 9 cubed. Again, I can't reiterate this enough. Guys, we're in Math 3. There is no calculator inactive portion. Use it. There's no reason to miss these. Because 9 cubed, a lot of people put 81 out of habit. Again, because 9 squared is 81. Not because if I said, what is 9 times 9 times 9? You obviously know that's not 81. But slow down and use the calculator because you have that option in general. So it's 9,156.2 divided by 3. And we get 3,052.06. That'll be 0.1. Again, that's our entire sphere. We're going to divide that by 2. And we're going to get 1526.03, which is just going to give us our 0.0. So that's just for the sphere, in this case, hemisphere. Our sphere was 3052.1, so for the full circle, and then we cut it in half. And that is going to be inches cubed, inches cubed. I'm the worst at remembering to write units as well. I always get excited just if the math works out for me. All right, so we're going to do cylinder. So our cylinder, that's my stack of bologna, because again, it really kind of grosses me out, but it helps remember. So I'm going to find the volume, so big BH. There's no pinch, there's no 1/3, there's no 1/2. Big B in this case is a circle, so that's pi r squared. That's the area of my slice of bologna, and then how many are in the stack going this way. So pi, we're going to use 3.14. We have that 9. This time it is squared because this is just the area of a circle. And then we're going to multiply all of that by 17 because that's how many stacks of bologna are in there. So 3.14 times, in this case, it is 81 if you want to do it that way. And then times 17 is going to give us 4,323.78. So that's going to be 0.8 because, again, at the beginning of the worksheet, it did tell us to round to the nearest tenth. And this is going to be inches cubed. Dude, I did squared up here. See, I told you this is my own issues. Cubed, cube, cube, cube. Don't write squared. Squared is flat. It's like the cone once you stepped on it and it became that triangle. Area is squared. Volume is cubed. Again, we're not done because that is not our answer yet. And we are going to add the 1526 to that 4,323.8. And we're going to get 5,849.8 inches cubed. All right, one more example. This one should be even easier. I think it's funny that it's at the bottom of the page instead of at the top. Maybe because it's a little solid, but ultimately we have rectangular prism, or in this case, if we look at it from this way and we start slicing this way, it's a square prism because it's 4 by 4. Hopefully you can see those. That's a 4 millimeter. This guy's 3 by 6 by 12. You can definitely do this one. Go for it. I believe in you. You got this. So our top guy, we're going to do big BH. Our big B is going to be a square. So that's going to still be length times width. If you see squared, it's side squared, which is in this case 4 times 4. And then times height. I like to kind of keep one formula that I can use for a lot of things. So as long as it's a square or a rectangle, length times width times height would be this guy. Probably if I was guessing where someone might mess up is you see 4 by 4, but we lost how many are sliced in there. And that's going to be 6 because of this slice down here. This is the length, width, height in this case, because this guy, if we threw him on his side. Again, you could do 4 times 6 times 4. The direction doesn't matter because it is multiplication. So 4 times 4 times 6 is going to give us 96 millimeters cubed, and that's for our top guy. Then down here for the bottom, we have that 12, 6, and again, I'm just writing it bigger so you can see it. It's big BH again, whether you choose this as your base or if you can see the one in the bottom, that's 12 by 6. It doesn't matter because it is rectangular, so length times width times height. So 12 times 6 times 3. It's going to give us 216 millimeters cubed because it's a three-dimensional figure. Don't pull the trigger yet. We got to add those together, and then we end up with 312 millimeters cubed. My biggest call out, guys, like I said, is you've seen it. I'm the queen of knowing that I'm human. Cubed, when you're done, look for it, especially in multiple choice. They'll trick you sometimes. And then also just having to memorize the formula. And I do not recommend big BH, because if that's all you memorize, you're stuck and you got nothing left. It is not incorrect. You just come up empty-handed with any direction if you happen to be tired or on question, 473 of the 4 hours during our EOC. So you've got time right now to memorize between now and EOC time all the area formulas for that big B, or individually the formulas to this shape. Sounds like a lot. Trust me. Just get it over with now. It'll make your life a lot easier. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon.